There are certain motorcycles that you look at and immediately think, wow, now that is a crazy piece of custom machinery. And then once you find out how many painstaking hours went into actually building said bike and the total cost at the end of the project, your jaw practically drops to the floor. That is kind of the way that you would expect the conversation to go when someone is standing next to their Honda Rune. Except this bike isn't just some rare custom one-off. No, as you see it, the Honda Rune is as it came off the assembly line at Honda's factory, which sounds absolutely preposterous, which is why we had to make a video telling you all about it. Hello everyone, welcome to Rare Motorcycles. This is the channel where we dive into the past and explore some of the world's most iconic and rare motorcycles. If you want to see more short-form documentaries on unique bikes like the Honda Rune or others like the Suzuki RE5, then make sure to hit that subscribe button as we're dropping new videos every week. But now, let's get back to what you came here to learn about. The absolutely ridiculous Honda Rune. See, the Honda Rune itself is really a combination of the Honda Goldwing Cruiser and a series of concept bikes that Honda revealed in the years earlier. To truly understand the bike, you have to think of the time that the bike actually came out. See, the Rune itself was released in 2004, which is towards the height of the era of custom chopper TV shows and custom choppers in mainstream media. Custom choppers around this time were all of the rage and everybody couldn't get enough of them. And as a result, you also started to see Honda play into this type of style with a series of concepts that they released from the late 90s into the 2000s. And when you look at the various iterations of these concept bikes like the T1, T2, T3, and T4, it is very clear that they were going for the big, ostentatious chopper style. The Honda T2 concept bike specifically really captivated the public, and there were demands from rabid fans asking for Honda to go ahead and build this bike, even though it was such a radical styling departure from anything that Honda was doing at the time. And in all the craziness between the T2's crazy exhaust and curvaceous shape, Honda had literally no clue how they were going to make this motorcycle and actually take it to market as they designed it. But this would be a challenge that they were willing to accept. And to power this behemoth motorcycle, Honda would utilize a retuned and reworked version of the GL 1800 Goldwing's 1800cc liquid-cooled flat six. However, in the Rune, this was retuned with new cam profiles, 4 more throttle bodies, and a new tune to tie all this together. And the result of all these changes was the exact same power output of 118 horsepower. Yes, on paper, the Goldwing's engine and the engine in the Rune put out the exact same number of horsepower, but they did behave differently on the street, with people saying that the Rune had more low-end grunt than the Goldwing did. Even with 120 horsepower on tap, though, there was absolutely no masking the Rune's near 800-pound total weight. This was still a very heavy bike. In an effort to make the bike shrink around the rider in the turns, Honda did go through, though, and include a pretty impressive suspension setup on the Rune. That included a MotoGP-inspired Pro-Link rear suspension and a super interesting trailing link front suspension, which with its wide uprights made the Rune look very sinister from a front point of view. Other notable aspects of the Rune included its 5-speed transmission with its twin rotors up front, paired with a set of 3-piston calipers, and its more standard single disc in the rear with a 2-piston caliper to help slow this 800-pound beast down. It's fascinating to note that the Rune got, by what all intents and purposes, is actually a pretty high-end suspension setup with real race-derived parts on it for a bike that Honda knew from the jump would essentially just be an over-stylized cruiser, and that wouldn't ever really be hustled through the corners like a sports bike would. The Rune was an exercise in excess, a bike that was built simply because Honda could build it. But a bike of excess with as many custom parts as the Rune did means that this was not a cheap bike to purchase. In fact, when the Rune actually was available for sale in 2004, It launched with an eye-watering MSRP of $25,000. But what's even crazier is that it wasn't even Honda being greedy and marking the price up. No, Honda still at the $25,000 MSRP lost an estimated $75,000 per bike on every single Rune sold, which made it from a cost basis one of the worst financial decisions that Honda had ever made. But the Rune wasn't ever expected to be a real profit center for Honda. They drew it up as essentially an extremely expensive marketing expense to prove to the world that Honda could go out and actually build some truly insane-looking motorcycles and step away from their somewhat standardized design language at the time. But losing $75,000 on each bike sold was a sure way to ensure that the production run of these bikes was ended in just a few short years. But here's the catch. Honda never actually released officially the production numbers for these bikes anywhere. I was scouring through forums trying to find the production numbers, and some people say it was as low as 800, and others say there were as many as 3,300 built. From what I can gather, it seems that 3,000 is reasonable, but again, there's no real way to tell. There really never had been a bike like the Honda Rune ever released, and there likely never will be again, given just how much of a financial failure it was. Creating a motorcycle so unbelievably true to a concept that itself was never designed for production is not an easy or cheap task. But just know that if you see a crazy looking chopper at a show and you walk up to it and see that it's a Honda Rune, just know then that that bike left the factory exactly as you see it. But that concludes the story of the absolutely wild Honda Rune. If you enjoyed this video, we would greatly appreciate it if you could drop a like and also share this video with other enthusiasts. Also, please make sure that you are subscribed to the Rare Motorcycles YouTube channel and smash that notification bell for more documentary style videos just like this on the world's most interesting motorcycles. Until next time, enthusiasts.